Hey lovers!
It's Kai and Anna again.
Black Friday is just days away, and that means we're about to drop not only the greatest deals of the year, but also an entire new makeup collection.
So grab a snack and get comfortable, because there is a lot to talk about.
We are launching, if I've done the math correctly, 45 new products.
And we are announcing some of the biggest discounts we've ever done.
Let's look at the new launch first. Front and center are two amazing palettes packed with 24 brand new multichromes, metallics and mattes.
They are the spiritual successors to our beloved Hive collection, but both with their own unique personalities. And by very popular demand, they contain some of your most beloved shades from our 1UP palette, finally released as singles.
And in our best lethal tradition, we're going to swatch them all for you.
The first palette is called Evergreen, and we are starting at the top left with Flutter. Flutter is a beautiful sparkly duochrome that shifts from light gold to turquoise.
Next is Profusion, an incredibly bright matte neon yellow that glows under UV light.
This is Scarab, a mesmerizing sparkly trichrome that shifts from peacock green to turquoise and navy blue.
This one's Herbivore, a true matte neon green that also glows under UV light.
Biome is my favorite out of this palette. It's a sparkly quadchrome and it shifts from green to blue to purple and red.
Retreat is a matte neon purple. It's incredibly bright, but like all neon purples, this one does not glow under UV light.
Next up, a Boreal, a beautiful matte ochre.
Fauna is next, and it is a very elegant deep olive green metallic.
And then we have Nightless, a beautiful matte black and teal.
Mycelium is next, and it is a metallic trichrome that shifts from mauve to green to gold.
This next one is Hydrosphere, and it's a sparkly trichrome that shifts from ocean blue to aqua and pink. This one's just so shiny and shifty.
And last in the Evergreen palette, Wilderness, a stunning matte forest green.
This is such a beautiful color story, and it's a great standalone piece. Or you can also perfectly pair it with our second palette, the Metamorphosis palette.
Starting again in the top left, this is Ethology, a beautiful sparkly trichrome that shifts from yellow to green to red.
Next is Mantis, another sparkly trichrome that shifts from peach to pink to gold.
Monarch is next, and it is a stunning matte neon orange that glows under UV light.
This next one is Orchard, and it's the most beautiful rose bronze metallic.
Cocoon is our first ever satin shade, and it is a stunning peach sorbet.
Predation is next, and it's the most incredible matte crimson red.
This one's called Symmetry, and it is a beautiful muted rose matte.
This ultra-reflective gold is absolutely breathtaking, and it's appropriately called Queen.
Hexapod is the next shade, and it's a beautiful matte army green, which was desperately missing from our collection.
And here's Volant, a gorgeous sparkly trichrome that shifts brown to red to green.
Solitary is another super sparkly trichrome, and it shifts from copper to magenta and antique gold.
And finally we have Swarm, the most beautiful matte burgundy.
These 24 new eyeshadows will be available both in these pre-assembled palettes and as singles for you to integrate into your very own custom color stories.
And speaking of custom color stories, if you're looking for a new forever home for your favorite single shadows, face powders and highlighters, we have just the thing for you.
Meet our brand new Colossal palette. It's surprisingly compact, but will comfortably fit 48 of our eyeshadows, making it twice as big as our prismatic palette. Each half of the palette is covered by a magnetic flap, so your makeup is not only protected, it also does not cross-contaminate the other half. And one of these flaps is actually a giant mirror.
Okay, the next thing we're announcing I am so unbelievably excited for. This has been a long time in the making, but we didn't want to release it until we had gotten it just right, because we are coming out with 15 of the finest 100% vegan makeup brushes.
The reason why we spent so much time designing these is because we simply wanted to create the perfect set. One that covers everything you need at the highest quality possible. So we carefully selected the right softness and density for every brush, the ideal shape, and also the perfect size.
We designed these to function really well as a set, but also individually. Each brush has a number and their intended use printed on the handle, so they're beginner-friendly, but really designed with professionals in mind. They're precise, durable, and just an absolute joy to work with.
Let's go through all 15 brushes one by one.
Starting with our biggest brush with the number 100, it's our super soft powder brush. This one really is unlike any other synthetic hair brush and applies any kind of loose or pressed face powder to perfection.
Number 105 is our bronzer brush. and it creates a perfect and seamless blend without any harsh transitions or patchiness.
110 is our contour brush. It's a little more dense for greater precision, but it's still soft enough that you can use it to apply and blend in one go.
For blush, we're coming out with our number 115 blush brush. It's again a softer brush for that perfect blend.
120 is our foundation brush. It's a more dense brush, but the individual hairs are still soft, so the density comes from the number of hairs, not their firmness. It also has a special V-cut, which allows it to perfectly follow the contours of your face. The result is a flawless, seamless application.
At 125 we have our highlight fan brush. It's ideally sized for precise application on your cheekbones, but also the bridge of your nose and your brow bones.
200, 205 and 210 are our blending brushes. There's 3 because, let's be honest, you can never have enough blending brushes. But they come at different levels of stiffness and different shapes, so they will all produce different types of blends.
215 is our shading brush, which I love to use to place deeper shadows into the outer corner of the eye.
220 is our pencil brush. With its small tip, it's great for precise application, or you can use it to blend out eyeliner.
For metallic eyeshadows specifically, we've designed the 225 packing brush. This one perfectly picks up all kinds of metallics and multichromes and transfers them precisely onto the lid.
A smaller sibling of the packing brush is our 230 detail brush. It's dense and precise and perfect for the under eye area.
Moving on to our liner brushes, the 235 angled liner brush is amazing for precise eyeliner application.
This final brush we've actually worked on the longest. We wanted to create a liner brush that was just unbelievably precise, and we actually drew inspiration from fine arts brushes for this one. So here's our 240 pointed liner brush, maybe the most precise liner brush out there and an absolute dream to work with.
And if you buy all 15 brushes in a set, they come in this beautiful and sturdy box. It splits into 2 equal halves that can perfectly serve as brush holders, and it's also great for transporting them.
And there's another thing we are launching, which is our brand new Trinity Anti-Magnetic Palette.
A beautiful cardboard palette that holds 3 face powders or highlighters and that you can buy individually or configure in our palette designer. It's finally a replacement for our triptych palette, which we know you've been waiting for a while.
Before we move on to deals, let's quickly talk facts.
The Metamorphosis and Evergreen palettes retail for €54 each, and you can get the individual shadows for between €6.50 and €9. The 15-piece vegan brush set, including this beautiful box, retails for €152 at a value of €190, or you can get the individual brushes for between €10 and €16. The Colossal 48-pan empty palette is €32, the Trinity empty face powder palette is €11.
All of these will launch November 24th at 4 p.m. CET, that's 10 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. Pacific.
Moving on to deals, because we have some really special things in store for you.
We have some of the greatest discounts ever on our site, with the majority of our products reduced 30%, some of them 50%, and a good many of them 70%.
There's also a 40% discount on all 9-pan custom palettes or bigger, and we're bringing back our mystery bags, this year in 2 different sizes, both packed with incredible full-size leading products.
And the mystery doesn't end there.
Because come this Black Friday, we are also releasing a pre-assembled mystery mini 6-pan palette. It contains shades from our existing small pan palettes, which are not available individually, and here's an example of what you might expect to get.
The small mystery bag will be available for €27 and contains products worth €60. The large bag for €36 and it contains products worth €90. And finally, the mystery mini palette will be €9.75.
Anything else?
Well, we're also finally bringing back our Elixir mixing liquid, and we are restocking all of our multichromes.
Okay, if we don't wrap this up now, we're going to miss the launch. So thank you all for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and check out our Instagram in the coming days for comparison swatches.
And don't forget to
Stay lethal!